Aho. Lots of love to all my brothers and sisters of Love and Light Federation. I have another message from Spirit, from Creator, Source. It's very important. And what I heard and what they were speaking to me is this very simple message, and I've heard it over and over. I know it's been spoken through other light workers. And so that message is, it's a beautiful time to be aligned. So I was like, okay, I've heard this message. What does that mean? And so what Spirit is saying is that it is very important for us to be aligned. And what that means is to be aligned in all areas of our life. So not just aligned within, right? Which that is where it starts. And I'll get into that a little bit deeper because it's all part of the message that I'm supposed to be sharing, and that is very important to help you guys, to help us navigate through these times. And it's part of the ascension that we're going through. So our ancestors knew, and this is a very, it goes way back. It's very Native Americans, indigenous, our culture always knew that it was very important for us to be aligned in all areas of our life. And so what we refer to it as is a medicine wheel. And now what the modern times call it is holistic practices. And it's really the same thing. So our ancestors really knew the importance of being balanced and centered, mind, body, soul, spirit. And so this message is exactly about that. And they're saying that if we're not in alignment, we're not balanced in all those areas of our life, then it is going to be a lot more difficult to go through this process. So they're saying, and I had actually been saying this from the very beginning of this transition, of this collective, I'm not gonna go into speaking what I really want to speak about it because that's not part of the message. But when we started this process last year, I had started sharing, speaking into the importance of fasting, the importance of meditating, and really doing the healing work, really doing the deep healing work. And some of you have honored those messages. And here we are a year later, and Creator Spirit, our ancestors, are reminding us that it is extremely important, because we are going through this ascension, that we honor it, and that those of us who understand the importance of it will take this message seriously. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of why it's important in this transition. So we are all going through this ascension, and we are all experiencing this collective, difficulties, trials, tribulations as a whole. However, each one of us is experiencing it in the way or in the place that we're at. And so that's where the ascension or the 5D or the 3D comes in for each individual. And so the way they showed me is we can be in the same world and experience two completely different energies, vibrations, depending on how much work we've been doing on ourselves, how much research we've been doing. Our understanding of what's happening is going to be different. And that's exactly what we're seeing. People are in different places of this experience, and I shared about that in the last couple of videos. Some people believe that it's very important for you to wear one of these, to do this, and other people understand and know how the way we take care of our body is very important, and building our immune system, and if we are breathing fresh air, is how we stay healthy. And that's what I'm talking about. We're in the same world, having two completely different understanding of what's going on. And so the reality is that, so we're in this house. The house is symbolizes the collective or the world. And so we're all sharing the same house, and some of us are looking through one window of the house, and that window is dirty, has mud, hasn't been cleaned. And so when we're looking out that window, we're going to see things very distorted. We're going to see things in a different way than, let's say, the other people in the same house are looking through a different window that has been cleaned. So they're going to be able to see things with a clearer understanding and perspective of what's going on. Neither one is right or wrong. I have to always remind everybody, this is not about judgment. We're all experiencing it in the way that we're supposed to. However, if we're not tending to our house, then it is going to be a little bit more difficult to navigate through what's happening and understand it, because we're not going to be able to have that clear, vision. And so that's a big part of the why I heard that message, which is, this is a great time to be in alignment or to be aligned, because that's the only way we're really going to go through the ascension is by taking care of our house. So our house is our physical body. And so when we clear and make sure that our house is healthy and take care of it, then everything else stems from there, because our home has to be strong, because it's the foundation of what then trickles out into the world. So not only just for our own health, well-being, but it's what we then share with the world. It is our vibration, our light, and it's how we navigate through life, but also then help others, right? So it is very important time to go back into the messages that I've been sharing and tend to what is going on. Look at all those areas like our ancestors have taught us for many years. Spiritually, where are you at? Are you connected to Source? Do you have a relationship with Creator? If not, then you're not centered in your heart. Because remember, our heart is our connection to God. It's our intuition. It's love. It is our relationships. So if you're not having that spiritual alignment, then from there, everything else is not going to be stable. And so then you want to also then look at how is your physical body doing? What are you eating? Are you exercising? So it's a good time for you to reevaluate what is happening within your physical body. Change the way you're eating. I had been really promoting and suggesting and pushing eat high vibrating foods. And that is because they do keep us vibrating high, and it helps us digestive system. It helps everything flow more naturally. So it's a good time to start a detoxification. I had also really been pushing fasting. Fasting is a great way for us to detoxify the body when, of course, done appropriately. And then you want to really start, going to the different aspects and parts of our life and start tending to it. This is part of the healing process, but it's also part of us staying sturdy, staying balanced and rooted in our home, in our, strengths, in our medicine. And from that point, we can navigate. That's when the ascension comes in. And that's when we're able to see with clarity and see truth of what's going on, instead of having, perception that is distorted and looking out a window that hasn't been cleaned for many years, right? And so Spirit is saying it's very important that you do tend to yourself and that you align all those areas. Again, mind, body, spirit. And start checking, where is it that I need some healing, some work? Where do I need to be doctored? And really start shifting yourself, because it's gonna really help. And so, that's a big part of the message. And by doing that, then you start really allowing everything and everyone within the collective to start raising vibration together. And we then are in alignment, and there's no tug and pull, because we're all raising vibration. So we always want to make sure that we take care of ourselves and that we tend to ourselves, because again, yes, we're all going through this and navigating through this ascension in a different way. And some of us may be going in a different direction than some of us, and that's okay. That's just the way it's supposed to happen. Some of us are exiting. Some of us are exiting this world, and that's because it's too much. It's too much for people, and they just don't want to be in their physical body anymore. And so there's a lot of that happening. And again, sometimes it's just part of the journey that we're supposed to experience. We had already agreed to this contract prior to coming in, and so we're just fulfilling part of it. And another analogy I want to use is, we can be going in the same direction, navigating through the same journey, but if we're in different vehicles, and one vehicle hasn't been taken care of, wasn't really properly taken care of, and the other one is a little newer, or someone took the time to do the oil changes and really care for it, then it's going to go a little bit further than the one that wasn't tended to, right? And although we're all experiencing this, these difficult times, depending on how well we take care of ourselves, it goes back to taking care of ourselves. We're going to be able to only get so far before our spirit, our body, our mind starts giving in or giving up and breaking down. And so, again, goes back to taking care of your home, taking care of our womb, the center of where we're created, because really that's what it is. Our creativity stems from our womb. That's where things are created and born. So making sure that that's taken care of, making sure your heart is right, making sure your mind is right, and then create from that space. And it's important, and the other part of the message is that we start collectively creating the world that we want to see, instead of focusing on the things that bring our vibration down, that fill us with fear. Some of the people are so focused on watching news that is fear-based. And so how are they going to be able to shift from that energy or shift into the 5D if all they do is sit all day and watch things that are done with the intention of keeping people in a low vibration? So it is very important that you start choosing, that you start making choices. You remember, Spirit says you have to remember you have free will. So you have the ability to shift that awareness, shift your conscious and your subconscious by choosing what is it that you want to be a part of, what do you want to participate in, and start making the conscious decisions of not viewing things that are fear-based, and instead start really putting your energy into the things that you want to create. And collectively we have to do this. So we have to dream the world that we want to live in. Dream it by visualizing it. And it starts again from first taking care of ourselves, and then shifting our awareness, because as I said before, the things that we think about repetitively is how our body is going to react, but also is what the energy or the vibration that we're putting out into the universe. And we continue to have more of that, have more of that, have more of that. So instead, let's make a conscious decision to really take care of our home, to really take care of the womb, the mother. Remember, the world is our Mother Earth. So take care of mother, the mother within us, the mother, of the world, our heart space, our mind. Get in alignment, get connected to source, because that's what draws our strength, our faith, our trust, and then create from that space. Really, really, really create from that space. It's very important. And as always, I just want to remind you how important our prayers are. They're so important. So I always encourage you, and I ask you to please continue to pray into the dream, the vision that we are wanting to create for ourselves and for our future generation. So thank you again. Please share these messages. They are meant to be shared with everybody because, again, we need to shift where we're currently at, and we need to do it together. Aho.